Look at that beauty. We've got the Walther PDP match steel frame out today. Coming up, you'll see my absolute first shots through the gun. We'll do a full magazine plus one. Take it over to the what's for dinner table to see what it eats. Of course, the spinner for sights and trigger control. Then some practical accuracy before giving you concluding thoughts. Might also sneak in a comparison against the polymer frame. Let's get to it. Welcome to Oregon in December. No. Okay, yes, I admit my camera skills aren't the greatest, but that odd coloring you're seeing is wonderfully near freezing fog. So everything is damp, everything is cold, but not yet cold enough to be icy. It's great times to be at the range. As I get the target camera fired up, I want you to keep that in mind because spray paint doesn't work well in this weather either. So you can't paint the target. We're just gonna have to deal with it through the fog out there at about 20, maybe 25 yards today. I'm a little further back than normal. Is a reduced size torso target. Take that and 10 rounds of Fiocchi, thanks to our Ammo Squared supporters. Those of you who don't know, Ammo Squared has a deal. They match a percentage of what you spend and put that same value into our own account. It's how we keep having ammo and keep doing these videos. So thank you for that. Fiocchi 9AP in my test proved to be a little bit on the soft side. So if we have performance issues like we have with other guns, shooting soft ammo right out of the box, I'll grab a box of something a little bit hotter and we'll see how that does. But looking forward to this straight out of the box. PDP steel frame. The sights were obviously meant to be replaced with a red dot, but I test guns how they come. So let's see how we do. I don't know how it looks in the camera. That was very, very controllable. The recoil wave is more of a wave than a jar, thanks to the heavy weight of this thing. If you've ever shot a single action army, we were just talking about that on the other channel, the way that kind of rolls your hand, that's kind of what's going on here. But very crisp, very predictable trigger, almost like shooting a hammer fired gun, and super recoil absorbing. Now as we do full magazine plus one using that same ammo, I'm going to try to find my point of aim. It seemed like it was a little bit off there. Full mag plus one, by the way, gives you 19 total rounds. And no extraordinary effort required to get it in there. You do have to give kind of a tuck since the floor plate just protrudes just a touch from the mag well. So let me see if I can figure out my point of aim on this thing. I think I figured it out. Wow. Just right off the bat, first impression from that, you guys saw on the tabletop how crisp this trigger is and what the travel is like. You know the weight of it from the specs in the article, of course. The combo of those two made that stupidly easy because there was something, and this could just be me as a shooter, but about fire, right, trap the trigger, about as the gun is settled, the trigger resets and it's ready again. It was just a sequential, easy shooting. Might just be the way it works for me, but I'm telling you, like, as soon as the gun was on target, the trigger was already ready. The gun settles about as quickly as the trigger is ready. There we go, that's a better way to say it. Sorry for dragging on, need some more coffee. All right, so we know the mag's run. We know that so far I'm having fun with this thing. Let's head over to What's for Dinner and see what the gun eats. And it's that time again, What's for Dinner time, thanks to Ammo Squared supporters, some manufacturers, patrons, and me doing some shopping. We've got a wide variety of 10 different loads. The purpose of this test is to see what will the gun eat. Does it feed it from slide lock? Does it cycle another round of the same type from that round's energy? And does it lock open on empty? Now, as we went by these, you might have noticed we've got 90 grain up through 158 grain today. different overall lengths, ogives in different locations, and different projectile shapes. This should help serve as a general guide as to whether or not this gun is going to run the ammo you want it to run. This should be a fun one. You might have noticed not a lot of hollow points or defensive oriented ammunition in this, because this is obviously a competition gun. So I wanted to keep it at least to ball-ish type ammo, but still throw in a hollow point or two, you know, why not? We are 7 yards away from our target. Those are 2-inch circles, not the most precise aiming spots, but they work as a general aiming spot because we're really looking to see, does the gun function, and maybe if there's a point of impact shift with different types. Starting off with our lightest is the 90 grain 1776 lead-free sporting. That's sure 8 with authority. Comically light recoil in this gun. But that ammo did not get slide lock, and we do have a stovepipe that is not from bouncing off the optic because there's no optic. So that's a maybe, or it could be a break-in thing. It's kind of an extreme. This test is not the easiest for guns. Next up, some MagTech jacketed soft point 95 grain that are a little bit snubby for circle 2. Man, I love the way this thing racks. Woo, those are flashy. Sure print nice though. Wow. That's a fun load. Our third one, Hornady Critical Defense Light, 100 grain. Same thing. Third round, a little bit of a stovepipe. Again, could be the gun needs broken in, or it could be that these light loads are too light for a 5-inch gun. Wouldn't be surprising, completely logical. So let's try some 115s. Blazer aluminum. We use aluminum and used to use steel case when we could get it because, well, same reason a lot of people like yourselves use it. It's cheaper, but the case material has increased friction coefficient between cases stacked in the magazine and going into and out of the chamber. Plus the expansion and contraction rate is different than brass, so some guns get a little sticky on them. Keep in mind, Walther has that step chamber that is a little bit snugger. It has also proven to provide a little more extra velocity. We have a video on that too. Circle 4. See, no issues running the 115s. Now up to 138, Federal Syntech Defense. This is the synthetic jacketed hollow point that breaks apart into 4 major pieces. Circle 5. Well, that's spicier. But it smells like cinnamon, so it's okay. It didn't group as well. Might have been my shooting. Man, the trigger on this thing. Now, S&B 140 grain non-toxic, even though it sure looks like that's a lead tip. Maybe the checks have a different definition of non-toxic. Let's try it out on circle 6. It's loud. Shot all right and functioned. And top off some mags. So far, things group them pretty well. Now, I do admit I'm a Walther fan. P99 is what taught me that handguns could be great, and I've stuck with them ever since. So, does my familiarity with ergonomics play a role in this? Maybe. I think what does most of it is I'm not developing any trigger jerk or recoil negative reactions because this all steel frame is just soaking up that recoil, and the trigger is nice and crisp like a good hammer fired gun in that you don't really have time to mess it up once you start the shot. Reloaded. Circle 7. We're on Spear Lawman. These 47s. Yeah, 147. They're rather long for a 147 grain, but still have the snubby nose. Punchy. And they sound subsonic. Grouped decently again. Locked open. Now another 147. This is the Federal Syntech from their Practice and Defend combo pack. These 147 matches are meant to match the performance of the 147 HSTs. So you practice with this and then carry the HSTs. They should shoot similarly. Let's see how that goes in the Walther. Heavier recoil. Interesting they function that way. The holes, now that target's got a lot of stacked paper, so it could be that it's just stacked just wrong, but it sure looks like those bullets did not stabilize well. Circle 9 is the 147 HSTs. Let's see if we get similar results. Nope, those shot much better, or I did it much better. Important thing is the gun ran. Can't speak today. Smells a bit lemony. Our heaviest are the PPU 158 subsonics. These things are awesome for shooting suppressed. Big, long bullet, moving very slow. Also very comfortable to shoot. They tend to be fairly accurate. Does Graham put his foot in his mouth or not? We'll find out. Ran. So we might have had a break-in just for the heck of it. I'm gonna try and make sure I've got enough ammo. Just shooting off into the dirt. I'm going to try a single round of that lead-free sporting stuff that the gun choked on earlier. See if we have the same slide lock issue or not. We did. So that ammo is probably too soft for this gun, at least so far. It is brand new, not even lubed. I run guns, worst case scenario. I know that hurts a lot of you deep in your souls, but I want people to see what the worst performance could be. Hopefully now we'll have some good performance as we head over to the spinner. That is our 6-inch Titan Great Outdoors spinner target. We're back here about 13 yards away. I'm standing next to the camera. I'll leave you zoomed in so you can watch. Use this target to gauge sights and trigger control because it's a small target at distance, and as I hit it, it starts moving. The harder you hit it, the faster it moves, the more difficult and more precise the shot has to be, meaning good sights and a good control of the trigger. Using that Fiocchi, which is a little bit weak, however, we have a 5-inch barrel. Maybe that'll compensate. See how we do. Not too bad. I could have spent all day on that. It's just fun with this gun. That trigger is spectacular for timing a shot. Super easy. The sights I'm not a huge fan of. I kind of preferred the sights that came on the Q5 match series. But in the day of red dots, I get it. Most people aren't even going to pay attention to the sights. They're just going to slap a dot on here, which I now really want to do with how controllable this gun has been and how accurate it's been so far. It's, I mean, I know this is meant for the competition guys, but holy crud, is this fun to shoot. It's really something enjoyable. might be something great for training. The ergonomics of it for my hand is just spectacular. The two things that they kept from the Q5s that I really appreciate is the rounding here in the beaver tail. Make sure that my knuckle stays good and safe. I really appreciate that. And then the rounding under this trigger guard. You guys can see better close-ups in the article or in the tabletop video, but man, it just fits. All right, let's do some practical accuracy. Practical accuracy is exactly what the name says. It's practical. This is not bench shooting. This is just getting a feel for how accurate the gun is. That's what you guys get to watch. For me, slowing down shooting like this is time to collect my thoughts on the gun. We are shooting at a 1-inch square from 7 yards, and this is actually take 2. You can see the results on that left circle square of the last one when I failed to press record on the camera. Not my best day, but the Walther sure seems to be compensating for it somewhat. Let's see if I can do it again. 1-inch square at 7 yards. Similar to the first time. Strange how some seem to be hitting the paper not quite as straight as others. After shots on this guy, even though I'm obviously not having an A-game day, is I think I might have just found a new favorite range gun. This is so comfortable to shoot, so controllable. Wow, it's, now I already said it after the spinner, it's meant for competition, but holy crud, would it be a lot of fun to run a course with it, or just to train with as a confidence builder. You know, I've said that about a few other guns. There are guns out there, and I think this is one of them, that elevates your shooting a bit. It doesn't cheat, it doesn't do it for you, but it shows you your own capabilities a little more because there's less to fight with the gun. The gun is being as natural as possible for a human being to hold a few feet in front of their face while controlled detonations at 35,000 PSI send a lethal projectile. I mean, think about it. Those are, that's what happens every time you shoot. And so it's not necessarily a natural thing, but something like this PDP match steel frame makes it feel a whole lot more natural. With more range time with this, I'm pretty sure that I could have the same instinctive quality shooting that I developed with the Bull Armories and with the Grand Powers over the years. This is loads of fun. Man, Tia's gonna regret not having shot this. Maybe we'll get her out here soon. I was going to do, I might still do it, over on the second channel, a comparison of this versus the Q5 steel frame. We'll see if there's time to film that today. If not, I'll have to film another day. Rain is supposed to be coming, but I don't think it's gonna get through this fog. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Anyways, PDP match steel frame. Wow. Definitely a wow gun. I know it's not inexpensive. I know it's not something you casually pick up, but it's definitely a different shooting experience than the overwhelming majority of guns I've reviewed here on this channel. This is seriously, this is a nice setup. Swapping the sights or throwing a red dot on it and it'll be freaking incredible. In fact, I should probably do a follow-up video, bring it back out here with either irons of my preference or a dot. Pull one off of another gun. Thank you guys for 8 years of support, and thanks for watching.